Hello, everybody, to session 20, Bars Around the World.
Our today's special guest, the wonderful, beautiful Katarina. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's so a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you so much for your time.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So cool. Thank you.
So before we start with our questions, may I ask you to give a short introduction of yourself?
Well, my name is Katarina Wallentin, as you introduced me as. That's very correct. And then I've been working and using the Access tools for the past 15 years. So I've been around for a long time, and I've been working with the global team of Access nearly from the very beginning. And I've been part of writing a lot of the books, been part of creating a lot of the different videos that you may get into contact with. I work a lot with our communication, our translation, and I also facilitate a lot of classes. I facilitate foundation, Being You classes, 3-day body classes all around the world. So I use the Access tools every single day, and I have for the past 15 years, and it's changed my whole life.
Wow, great.
Wow. Oh my God. Thank you. First question. What was the reason for you to choose consciousness and the Access bars?
Well, I had already started to look for something different. I had worked many years in the business of changing the world via different NGOs and charities. So I'd worked for Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, United Nations. I had a whole career in that area. And so I was trying to save the world from the outside. And then I came to this point where I couldn't write another article about women being raped in Congo. I sensed myself going cynical, basically, and I didn't want to go there. So I started to look for other things. What else is there? And I knew there had to be something different in the world. I know there had to be something greater than what I was seeing. So I started to explore all kinds of modalities, everything from Eckhart Tolle to Byron Katie to tantra courses to festivals. I did all of it, of course, a lot dynamically, since that's how I function. And then one day I stumbled over this modality that I couldn't really understand. I had a friend who had started to do Access classes, and she said, well, I don't really know how to cognitively explain it to you. It has to do with energies, and it has to do with a change that doesn't necessarily come from your thinking mind. And I think you would like it. So she brought me to one of these classes, and the class was actually about relationship. It was like an intro class where we used the Access tools to look at all our points of views and all our conclusions and decisions that we had around relationships and something different. But at the end of the class, you could get your bars run. Wow. So one of the facilitators that was running the class ran my bars. And it was this experience of something that I couldn't, like, I've always been very focused before this on that I could understand everything. That was like my superpower, was that I could understand. I was pretty smart, like I knew that. And so I was basically like a brain, a mind walking around on, like my body was there to transport me through the world. And when I had my bars run, I suddenly started to notice that, okay, I'm also energy. Like there's something else going on here that I can't explain with my mind. And when I left, I was so much lighter and I had so much more space. And again, I couldn't explain it. I couldn't say exactly what changed. I couldn't even say exactly what I became aware of. I just knew that my space of functioning in the world had changed. So that's the first time I had my bars run.
Oh my God. Thanks to share this. Wow. Cool. Awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, when you think back, what was the bar session that you remember the most? Is there maybe one bar session?
That's a really good question. I would say, well, there's been many bar sessions that I remember, but I would say one of the sessions that really popped when you were asking that was the first time I got a really long session. Where like in the beginning of bars, somehow we still think it should be an hour. Like somehow, even though we're told it can be like you run the bars, every bar, or the 32 points, you actually can run them until the energy stops running. So it can be 20 minutes to 5 hours, depending on, what's going on for you. And still, most people run bars for about an hour. And I was in this class, it was one of the core classes of Access Consciousness, the foundation class, and somebody ran my bars the whole morning. I lay down when I came in, because in access classes, you can actually receive the class while getting your bars run or while running somebody else's bars. And it's an even more, it's one of the strangest part about Access Consciousness, that you don't have to sit and stare at the facilitator the whole time. You can get body processes run, and you can run body processes on other people, because we actually receive with much more than our mind. We receive with our whole bodies and our beings and all of that. So anyway, I had my bars run, and I lay down in the morning, and in my head, in my very transactional head, that person was going to run my bars for an hour, and then I was going to run that person's bars, because that's what's fair, that's what's like the equal thing. And we obviously had time before lunch. So this was going to be like me 1 hour and then 1 hour. And then that person, it was a friend of mine, a female friend, who also does access. Anyway, doesn't matter. Sorry, I got sidetracked. That's what happens. I'm tapping into that person's whole world. Anyway, back to this morning, and she started to run my bars, and she kept them so long that I did, otherwise I always like, oh, they're going to move soon. It feels so good, but they're going to move soon. But I couldn't even go there because she just kept running my implant band. And I slowly felt my whole body relax into receiving. And bars is about teaching us how to receive. We never really learned how to receive. We always think we have to give something back. If we get something, we have to get. It's always a transactional thing, but really gifting and receiving is simultaneous. So when she didn't go to like, I have to move through all her bars so I can get mine run, and instead just stay there on my implant band and just kept running them, like my whole body started to relax. And then I started to go into this space, which is an interesting space with the bars, where you literally are like in between. You're not sleeping, but you're also not awake in the sense that we would describe awake. It's actually a very creative, and it's a very relaxing space. It's your brain waves go into this nearly meditative space. It's what you can measure with monks, for example. It's a similar thing when they meditate. And she kept doing that the whole morning. And then when she finally said, okay, it's time for lunch, I was like, what? What happened? How could I be allowed to just receive for things like 3 hours? And how could I even manage to receive for that, like lay down for that long? And when I got up, I had a whole new world, because there was so much that shifts and change when you actually have your bars run for that long, that you can't keep going to, okay, they have to move, or they should move, or this is the time to move. You just are being with the bars. So that's the session that popped now when you asked.
What a gift.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I love your space. Thank you so much. Oh, cool.
So the next one. Travel in time back for 15 years. What changed from then to now, before you started with Access to today?
Oh, well, so many things. It's funny with when we talk about what changed, because in many ways, it's like you come out more. It's not like you changed into something else. It's you get access to more of you, and you get access to more of the space that you actually am. And I think that's a really key thing when we use like the clearance statement, for example, when we're asking to uncreate and destroy something. It's not that we're asking to uncreate and destroy what we truly be. We're uncreating and destroying what's in the way for that. So I would say that in the past 15 years, I've got access to to so much more of me, who I truly be. And I have so much more ease, and I have so much more space. And there's a sense of that I can really handle anything, and I can choose anything in a whole different way. But that there's such a big leap from 15 years to where I am now. And it's not something that you do it's not like the Matrix. You do not just eat a pill and then you're suddenly more conscious. It is a continuous practice. It's really a practice that you do every day, every moment of the day. And sometimes it is so uncomfortable that you just want to run away. And that's okay too. And then you take another step and you keep moving. Yeah. And one of the things, and one of the greatest acknowledgements I got from this is, I'm separated from, I have a daughter who's 20, and her dad and I separated when she was 2. And he's never been interested in Access, which is totally fine. But he's just kind of watched me do it. And one day my daughter said to me, James, that's his name. He says he doesn't really understand what you do, and he doesn't really get it. But one thing is that you have become an amazing person by doing it. And coming from somebody that you've separated from, and that, you go through a little bit of stuff as you do when you separate from a relationship. It was such an acknowledgement. It wasn't even to me. He told my daughter. So it wasn't meant to validate. It's really was this is what I'm seeing. And I think that that's also one of the things that we sometimes forget. When we change, when we move into more of us, everyone that we are connected to will also change per default, because we're also connected. It's kind of like if you're cooking something and you put a spice in there, the whole dish changes, obviously, because you're changing. So you're part of this whole dish of people in your life. And when you change your taste or your essence of what you be, everything and everyone you're connected to change too.
Wow, that touched my heart. Thank you.
Yeah.
Really. That's very beautiful.
Amazing. Thanks for this vulnerability of yourself and your message. Therefore, awesome.
And
thank you.
Acknowledgement. Yeah.
Thank you.
So coming to the next one, as we have also a lot of beginners in this group, is there anything in addition you want to share with them, to tell them regarding Access, regarding consciousness, or whatever? Just say it.
Well, I think that one of the things with Access is that it is, I think Diva Diaz, she calls it's like a lifestyle, and you can add as much or as little to your life as you like. And you don't even need to choose how much or little that is when you start. You can just start using a tool. You can start having your bars run and see if you enjoy that. This is not about you making this one and only choice, like in the story, the story of the ring, like the choice. This is about a continuous choice of what you get will contribute to you. And this is available continuously. Like it's always there. There's something for nearly every situation in your life. There is a tool of consciousness that you could try using, and they're available all over for free in all kinds of different forms. Like that, you can find them on YouTube. You can find them in the Being You app. You can find a bars facilitator to run your bars. So what I really would suggest, if you're curious about Access, and if you're curious about these tools, start playing with them. That is really the only way you will know if this is something for you, because you will perceive if you have more lightness, if you have more space, and if you have more ease. And then there'll be times when you get so much more aware that you like the world will basically go in your ears like because you are hearing things that you've never been able to hear or perceive before. And that is the time to use the tools even more. And that's where, that's where I really would like to say, when it gets uncomfortable, trust it. Like trust that beyond this uncomfort is the change that you're asking for. Like that's when you use the tools of who does this belong to, that I think I'm sure you brought up in this group, like very basic, totally dynamic tools that all of us who've done Access for 15 years still use every day, all the time. So go play. And when it gets a little uncomfortable, ask if this is the change you've been asking for, showing up in a different way than you could ever imagine, and use the tool.
Oh, I'm celebrating.
And invite the fun as well.
Yeah. Have fun with it, because that's the play. What play is all about is like, have fun with it. And once you start playing, it is actually often so natural that you'll find that, okay, well, actually, yeah, I've known this. Like has the sense of something that you're familiar with. And again, then there'll be times where something that you get aware of, you're like, that kind of pulled the whole carpet under my feet out. That changes the whole way I look at this world. And what if that is what you're asking for as well? I mean, just go play, explore. There's a whole energetic universe out here. That is available for you.
And it's a different kind of play as we were taught, because play, it's a game. I have to win. I don't want to lose. I'm not allowed to lose. It's nothing about winning or losing. It's about having fun. Choose something. If it's okay, perfect. If it's not okay for you, choose something else.
Every 10 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not playing a game. It's really playing from that sense that we did as kids when we went out in the forest and we made a little shop and we sold things, and then we walked over there and we played with a tree, and then we walked over there and found a little gnome that we had a conversation with, depending on how your childhood was. So it is like that. And it's interesting. I had a conversation with a colleague the other day where she is starting to re-explore what is fun for her. It's like we even lose that. We're so busy being efficient and having our career and doing our jobs that we get nearly addicted to checking things off our list instead of actually looking for what's fun for us. What if you had a fun account and you needed to actually fill your fun account too, and not just your efficiency account and getting things ticked off? What have you done today that's fun for you? What have you actually enjoyed today? And what if that's part of this journey?
Wow. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
One last short question. Are there any classes or course with you for beginners? They don't have a foundation or something else?
I have a call coming up called Side Effects of Consciousness. And that particular call will only have Boris as a prereq. So keep an eye out. We're posting it in the next few days. So that would be a great call for someone to start with.
And if you want to, once we upload the video, we will put your homepage link underneath the video. So that everyone can
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And maybe I'll see one of you in person one day.
Hopefully, we are working on that.
We're working on that,
We want to travel the whole world because we need to visit all of our guests.
Of course.
It's a big gifting and receiving, also for me. Oh my God, yes. Oh, thank you so much for your time, really, for your time, for your energy, and for this
contribution.
Awesome space. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you too. Have a wonderful, playful day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.